It's been a while. Welcome back to another episode of
GuacnChippies.
Rank these proteins for tacos, obviously, without knowing what comes next on a scale of 1 through 10.
Okay.
So rank them, right? So you only have, for example, if I say whatever protein, you have to put it at number 10, 9, 8 slot, okay?
Okay, this is going to be hard. Soy una tragona.
So first protein, buche.
10. Wait, how many on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that
it's
means
on 10
on
for
this
me.
list, no, but you both had to agree on it.
You like buche. Why do we both have to
I like
agree?
it crunchy.
All right, so on the screen, you can just put Lilo's and yours top 10. All right, Lilo.
10 for buche.
That's crazy.
It's the one
Buche
for,
is phenomenal.
like, crunchy, right? Where you crisp it up.
You don't know buche?
Like, it looks like a worm.
It looks
I
like a
don't know.
piece of... No, that's tripa.
Oh.
She said a worm.
Yeah, no, it's
No,
not
it's
warm.
a piece of, like, skin. Basically a stomach. El buche que
One. No, I'm just kidding. Have I eaten it before?
Yes.
Do I like it? I don't remember. It's been so long.
Okay, so what would you rank it since you don't know what it
I
is?
was going to say a 9.
Okay, 9. Because you think something coming up is going to be worse than buche.
Uh-huh.
All right. Next up, chorizo.
A 5.
I don't really eat chorizo that often, but
But I mean,
I
I'm
don't
sure
think
you've
it's
tried.
bad. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I would say 6.
6 for chorizo, okay. When we were kids,
Really
my
is.
dad would dry the chorizo and hang it on the wall. And it was just so good. I love chorizo.
I like chorizo, but I'll give it a 5. Just because I had it the other day and it wasn't the best that I've had. I don't know.
Really? You didn't like it? I thought when Mom cooked it, it was good.
It was good.
Costilla.
Ooh, costilla's good.
You never had costilla,
3.
Lilo? You're bugging me.
Costilla 3.
Like the one in the caldo.
It's ribs, but when it comes to tacos, it's kind of like, carnitas are traditionally supposed to be made with a variety of proteins.
Yeah.
It's like various pieces of the pork. It has the carnitas, which you know from us, the chunks, the pork shoulder butt. There's also ribs, so a rack of ribs goes on it. There's buche, there's cachete, cuerito. So costilla goes in the caso as well. So it's very similar to carnitas that you know. And mind you, like when you make it, it's similar to carnitas without the bone, but it has nerve. So when you get to that nerve, it has like that crunchy texture to it.
I would say 3.
3,
Mhm.
okay.
I give it a 9.
Chicken.
I eat chicken the most. Chicken breast, chicken leg, chicken everything. So I would say...
And of course, it's for tacos.
Oh, for tacos? So
Mhm.
it doesn't matter. Chicken breast, it doesn't count.
Well, you can make chicken breast tacos, right? But would you say that's an ideal protein for tacos?
I would say 5.
5.
Mm-hmm.
Comment down below what you guys think about chicken.
I'll give it a 3. Chicken.
What?
A 5 just because I know
I
that...
love chicken, especially with our seasoning.
Al pastor.
It's been my second favorite, honestly. Michael perfected it. The seasoning. This is tough.
Mind you, your favorite protein might not be listed. So you don't know what is
Michael.
going to be there.
I'm going to say al pastor. I'm going to put it at 4 because lately it's been growing on me.
Tripas.
Absolutely not. Not a tripa.
Is it the circle
I'm
one?
going to put that 9.
The one that looks like a worm, like you mentioned earlier.
Number 8.
What?
Tripa's 9.
I don't... How are we related?
No, he's going to
That
say
looks
like
disgusting.
some...
What is going on here, guys?
No, the one that I was talking about, it's like a tubo. It's like that and then holes at the end.
Yeah, that's tripa.
I thought you were talking about the circles that Dad used to eat.
Oh,
And
no,
they're
no.
black.
No, no.
What is those?
You're putting those.
Riñón. That would be riñón.
Michael, you're an ass. You're
Okay, so-
probably tricking us
Wait.
into putting that in my top first.
I changed my answer. I'll give that one as a 4.
No, you can be checking
4.
your answer.
Next up, riñón.
I don't like the taste of riñón. I feel like if you cover it with like the toppings and stuff, then in the salsa, it might be passable, but
That sounds
typically
like
no.
Texture, the consistency, it's like nice and tough.
I guess riñón 8.
It's just the outer shell though. Once you get past that, like it's soft. But yeah, that's the one, the black one that you were talking about. What number would you put it at?
8.
I wish I would have not put buche as 10.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's surprising because buche, I think from all the exotic meats, exotic, right? I think that's the one that would be most liked among all of them. So I'm surprised that you guys would put that one at 10. Carnitas.
Oh, 2.
I love carnitas. That's going to be my number 1.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I usually always eat
Number 1?
carnitas,
Okay. Interesting.
tacos. 2.
Next up, suadero.
Ooh,
Thanks.
suadero. That's not bad.
You ever go to Mexico City and you get some tacos de suadero? I'm starting to get hungry.
I want to say, because all I have left is
Yeah, you guys have 2 more
1
options.
and 7, and I'm scared that he's never going to say steak. So I can't, like, I prefer suadero over hígado. So I'm going to have to, sorry, Asada, I'm going to betray you. I'm going to have to say suadero first.
Really? Over steak?
Well, I don't know if it's
Don't you
next.
understand her reasoning? She doesn't. You don't know what meat's coming next.
And I don't think
And if it's bad,
exactly.
but I'm safe.
I can say something like trompa de puerco.
Yeah.
I'm safe because it's 6 and 7.
So
He doesn't know what it means.
6, 7.
6, 7.
So you already put it suadero's number 1.
I put suadero as number 1 just
I'm
because
gonna
I
put
don't know what's coming next, and I'm scared that he's going to pick something exotic.
You know what? To be safe, I'm gonna put suadero at 6.
Okay. The last meat, carne asada.
Michael, no.
Hey, I didn't touch my phone. It's right here. You guys can look. That's the list.
I guess carne asada is going 7, but that would have been my top choice.
I don't mind it.
I got deceived.
Comment down below which list you prefer, Jocelyn's or Lilo's.
On a more serious note, the government shutdown has lasted for about 41 days. And it's been the longest in history so far. Today, November 10th, the Senate finally passed and voted to go forward with the new bill, which stated that they agreed to restart the government now with funding through January 30th, 2026, and agreed to debate the health insurance credits later. If that bill passes in December and the House signs off, the shutdown ends. Now, a lot of Democrats were angry at the fact that they said that this shutdown kind of was insignificant because they didn't get what they wanted. So what they wanted is to not cut the Affordable Care Act, which is also known as Obamacare. And that is part of the bill that they're going to debate later on in December. And it's not like for sure, it still leaves it on a limbo. So Obamacare is a healthcare reform law that makes health insurance more affordable and accessible by expanding coverage and implementing new regulations. Another concern that happened during the government shutdown is that SNAP benefits, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. In November, the payments were not guaranteed, so a lot of families were going to go without their usual paycheck that they get from the government for food.
Yeah.
Many of them, if they receive a payment, it would be delayed or it would be uncertain or less than normal.
So significantly less aid to those who claim to need it.
Mm-hmm. Trump is obviously against giving the SNAP benefits because he believes that a lot of people are just getting them and they don't really need it.
Do you guys think that's true?
Yeah, I saw a TikTok about it. A girl publicly posted that she gets free aid and stuff and use stamps from stores also to get groceries. So
I believe that there are families that need it, but there are sadly other families too that may be misusing the funds. So there's both. But I have seen families that are in need of receiving them, like they have double jobs and they still can't make ends meet. Just because they have like minimum paid jobs and then they have a lot of children. And unfortunately, that causes like a burden in their finances.
Do you think illegal families, like people who immigrate here illegally, are able to access these type of funds?
No.
What if they have kids who were born here?
The ones that have kids who were born here, they could get some kinds of funds for their children because they're American citizens.
Yeah, I asked because I genuinely don't know, and I'm sure like the conservative side would kind of say that's another point as to why not to have it. Generally, undocumented parents are not eligible for most federal welfare benefits, but their U.S. citizen children can be, and the parent can receive benefits on the children's behalf. These child-only benefits are sometimes available through programs like temporary assistance for needy families. Additionally, there are a few specific federal benefits for which undocumented immigrants may be eligible, such as emergency Medicaid. Certain nutrition programs for women, infants, and children. So WEEK is definitely something. And free reduced price school lunch. Eligibility for other benefits can depend on the state, and some states have their own programs.
Well, then see, like, the parent themselves are not eligible to get it because they don't have the status. It's the children. I don't see anything wrong with a U.S. citizen getting funds.
What do you think, Lilo?
I don't think it's bad.
But you realize that would create incentives for people to come here illegally, right?
Yeah, because other countries' government isn't good.
I'm not sure if they would do that in their country. So that's just interesting. Potentially because one thing that I noticed, for example, like Trump got a lot of backlash for the whole tariff situation, but in the long run, potentially it could actually be something good. Why? Because we're just asking other countries to pay exactly what they charge us to do business in their countries. What that did was create an incentive for other business to do business in America, which actually turned out well for us, right? So essentially, it's just both parties paying the same amount. And the whole tariff, the threat on tariffs, just forced a conversation between the countries. And so what has he been doing with Doge? Supposedly auditing the spending of the government to make sure that we're not wasting away money into certain sectors. And so potentially it's the same thing that's being done with this attack on social services, is just an audit to make sure that the spending is going to the people that actually need it.
Yeah, but I'm not against U.S. citizens getting funds, even if they have parents who are undocumented. And on your point of that's an incentive for them to migrate and live here, well, the whole point of Trump's administration is that he's supposedly making stricter borders and, making it more challenging to come to the United States.
What about homeless people?
What about them?
They have a lot of benefits.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are U.S. citizens, and they would cash their check or whatever aid that's. I'm not familiar with aid, but I know, medical is obviously a form of it, but like food.
I don't know if this is like a very naive point of view, but I think that every human should have the right to food, shelter, basic essentials. And so I don't mind homeless being provided with those opportunities. The problem is that they have addictions and vices that are being also fed. And there hasn't been something provided.
You give money to a drug addict.
Well,
like
the problem is the stamps and the weeks. Like, you could only buy certain things with those things. So, like, if they are using it the wrong way, like exchanging for other things, then that's on them. But honestly, originally, like, if you go week, there's specific kinds of cereals that you can buy. Milk, like, you can't just go and buy a PlayStation.
Well, I think that if the Democrats want to help others, then they need to
that would be fraud.
Be more strict.
There was a story where the woman, she's taken to court. She was using the SNAP benefits to sell products and, like, to the public, so make profit out of them. So she would buy and make her, like, let's say she had a bakery. I'm not sure the business she had, but I remember seeing a video where she was in court and she was getting judged because of that. And she was going to face fines and potential charges. So I believe that is also important. If you don't really need the services, there should be a way to monitor. But the whole problem with the Obamacare is that they want to cut it off completely. And I don't feel like they're providing a solution, or maybe I'm not knowledgeable enough in that area to make health insurance more affordable for Americans, because they're saying they're going to raise the premiums and everything's going up. So when you work and you have insurance through your job, they're taking money out of your paycheck. And then when you decide to go to the doctor, you still have to pay co-payments, you still have to pay for scans, you have to pay a bunch of fees. So what's the point for the insurance? And that's where I guess a lot of people are frustrated.
There's a lot to unpack there. Insurance, like medical things, will be more expensive when insurance gets involved, right? Because somebody else is paying for it. It's kind of like the government with financial aid and going to school. College is more expensive because the government gets involved, right? So if the idea of being conservative is less government, less overreach. So essentially, if they're not involved with our day-to-day, the cost of certain goods will go down. But I'm not sure exactly how long that would take. So given that you have all these people in need that are receiving food, and there's a lot of people that can potentially be taking advantage of it, don't you think that the funds would be better off invested in drug addictions
That's what I was
and establishing certain, like, a sense of community?
Yeah, but the issue comes when these homeless people don't want to do it. Like, they don't want to actually receive that treatment. But I would prefer that. But people would call it would be forced. So, like a prison, we could say, an example.
So, I mean, you're still a kid, essentially, but because you're in school and stuff. Do you have access to these government aids?
Yeah.
No, like for food and such?
Oh, am I taking SNAP benefits?
Yeah.
No.
Why?
Didn't I have
Well,
it?
I don't feel like I need those resources because
Why?
I work and I'm blessed
Okay.
and I'm with my family.
Why do you do that? Because understand this, the majority of homeless people are making a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it that you are making the choice to work and essentially find a different meaning towards life?
I guess it's just personal, like up to the person.
Do you know somebody who's homeless?
Immediately, like friends, no.
So wouldn't you say that
But I
there's
know-
a small population of people who are choosing to have this type of lifestyle?
Probably.
So where do you think that comes from? And like, if you can help her understand that, like, that's a general question, because the answer to that question could very well steer the government officials to understand where to pour the money to. For me, I think there's a lack of like a sense of community, and I don't know, I've never had this issue, but like certain addictions and vices, like how do you steer away from that stuff, right? Because all of us go through shit. Other people have certain ways of dealing with that, right? So I'm not trying to belittle the people who choose to have that life. I'm sure they have their reason to, right? But we give you a sense of community, family. Money could be poured in a way to bring that to other people, in addition to help with dealing with certain vices like gambling, like drugs, like alcohol. If all we do is just give money to these people, I don't think it helps. In my opinion, it would actually even create incentives to further stay in that cycle. Why? Because the welfare system, what does it do? You as a woman, if you have kids with a gentleman, get rid of that gentleman and you'll have access to more. Do you think removing the father from your kid's life is a good thing to do for you and for your kids?
No, but a sane woman wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens.
Well, regardless, and if she did, it's because something else is happening in the household. But
No, but I mean that
in general, there are programs and there are things that were in place, shelters and places where these people can go for resources. But the problem is there's not enough of them. And when there
That's
are,
not true.
yes, there's a lot of shelters that people line up to be able to sleep and shower and things like that. And they're full capacity because there's not enough rooms. There's not enough like space. And on top of that, whenever, money goes into these programs, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of corruption happening with whoever may be leading these programs.
My stance on this entire thing, like, I don't think the SNAP benefits and the welfare system, like, I don't think it's working. And I think it's incentivizing Americans to further continue to dig themselves into a deeper hole. I think with not having them in the future, it could actually be a positive thing if they're allocating those same resources in a different direction.
In addition to the funding for SNAP being affected during the government's shutdown, the U.S. Transportation Secretary, alongside with the FAA administration, announced last week that 40 domestic airports in the United States would be reduced by 10%. So a lot of people would be experiencing flights delayed, canceled because of safety. So they wanted to ensure that during this time, the people who were still working were not burnt out. And actually, Trump today, November 10th, said that he wanted to provide a bonus for the air traffic controllers who decided to work and not go home during this shutdown. He said he wanted to give them a bonus of $10,000. It's not for sure, but what do you all think about that? Should they receive a bonus?
Yeah. It's the ones that drive the plane, right?
They're the air controllers, so basically the people who direct the traffic in the airport. So there's like one section.
Why does he want to give them a bonus?
Because they decided to still work through the shutdown without getting paid.
Yeah.
And then he started like saying that the ones that didn't that didn't go to work and were complaining that they don't deserve their job and things like that.
Honestly, yeah, I do agree, because they're taking care of those people who are up in the air.
And then right now, like, obviously for things to go back to normal, even if the government was to reopen, it's going to take some time because there has been cancellations. So the delays people might experience might be happening during like Thanksgiving week versus like immediately right now.
Do you think all this is like a distraction?
Probably. That's what I sometimes worry about. And
like towards what though?
The attacks that are happening in Venezuela.
They're saying we're going to a recession.
But they also said that
reason
Israel and Gaza were signing a peace treaty and that they were gonna stop, being in war. And from my understanding, Israel has not necessarily respected that, and they've been bombing, and then Hamas has also been bombing. So, and then Lebanon is kind of getting involved again, and there continues to be conflict, even though they were supposed to, end the war already. This week, the Syrian president came to the United States and had a conversation with Trump. So I don't know what went on in those rooms.
I'm honestly just scared of getting bombed one night.
But
that's it.
Allegedly, Venezuela, Russia, Colombia.
I'm gonna go in your room and fart when you're sleeping. Fear has come to fruition.
Essentially, Venezuela, Russia, and Colombia are supposed to be under the same team with China. Very quickly, something interesting. There's an AP article of a journalist who was in Venezuela, and she kind of speaks about how the people who were killed in the boats that were attacked by the Trump administration, they weren't necessarily narco-terrorists. Like, they were alleged by the Trump administration or leaders of a cartel or gang. And most of the 9 men that were crewing the boats, it was for the first time or second time, and they were making at least $500 per trip. So Trump said that he had to get involved and throw missiles at them because they were smuggling drugs.
You know what's concerning? That how does he know all of a sudden where all these drug dealers are, the boats and all that stuff? That means the previous presidents, they all know, and they never did anything about it.
Well, I think it's kind of hard to end that, especially when you have the Mexican when you have the Mexican president saying that she's not really going to do anything. She didn't say she wasn't going to do anything about the drug dealers, but she's not really stopping them, kind of thing. Like, she knows they're there, but she's not directly going. Like, Trump wants to directly go against them, and she is kind of like, oh, well, they're here, but that's not my main focus, kind of thing. So I feel like a lot of people just decide to avoid them, I guess, because of the violence that comes
North
with
America is their number one client.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that like
for
a
drug
fact?
lords? Yeah.
Really?
The U.S. consumes a lot of drugs, and they pay top dollar for it. Rumors that they're becoming more violent with Americans and tourists because Trump is essentially cranking down on them. with strict border policies, it causes more seizures. I don't know if they've actually been happening. And also, he labeled them as terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
So since they are now terrorists, he doesn't need, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe he doesn't need permission from Congress to go after them because they're not terrorists.
Damn.
So they're saying that move was strategic because if he makes a move on them, like essentially that's a problem with Mexico. It's going to be like a war. And you actually need approval from Congress. But if you declare them as terrorists, I believe he's allowed to go after them without having to go to Congress.
Dang, that's crazy if that's the case.
Wow.
But supposedly there's like a lot of issues with fentanyl. Again, I actually haven't heard enough stories, but like this
He
is
says there's a lot of issues, but
yeah,
He
like
knows
no, because
all this.
like Donald Trump, because Mexico doesn't have these problems, and when he met with Donald Trump, the president, he asked her, what do they do to encourage like the youth not to do drugs, and essentially they had a conversation in that regards because apparently, or a lot of young people are dying because of their drugs are being spiked with fentanyl.
Damn.
Right? And
In
so
Mexico. Or here.
No, here.
Well, just in general,
US.
I
In
think
general,
it happens in Mexico
but
too.
in the U.S., it's.
No,
I mean, if Donald Trump is.
in Colombia as well.
Yeah, if Donald Trump is
everywhere.
mentioning this,
Mm-hmm.
clearly it's happening a lot. Right? Like, I actually haven't heard of anyone like, oh, that their kid or someone overdosed because of fentanyl. I actually haven't heard any stories, and it hasn't even made the news. Like,
I've heard
Has it?
stories of people having drug overdoses because they go out and people spike their drinks.
Damn.
It happens a lot. A lot of people might be wondering why Venezuela, why is Trump or the United States administration interested in going to Venezuela. And the reason is because of their oil and their minerals and their resources. Venezuela possesses one of the world's largest proven oil reserves, as well as significant deposits of gold, bauxite, and coltan.
Same.
Didn't you say that somebody found a way to turn plastic into oil? So technically Trump don't need them. We could just make our own oil.
Yeah, but the problem is that we're a capitalist society, so we revolve around making money.
those innovations is something that the billionaires would always attack and go after because they make more money off of us using their oil. For example, there's this conspiracy theory of that the government is paying people to create traffic because that means more people are stuck in traffic and they waste more gas.
Damn.
So
The maps will direct you specifically.
yeah, that's another one. Like the maps direct you in a specific way that encourage you to spend more gas.
Damn. They're
Yeah.
not going to believe you. Once you say something, they don't believe us.
For Trump and the U.S. in general, it'd be convenient that Venezuela has a leader that aligns with our goals. But as of now, it just seems like the tension is getting worse. Like
You can talk about Nigeria.
concerning.
Like, it's similar, right?
Nigeria, okay, fine. Nigerian isn't it
What's
because
going
a lot of
on in
like
Nigeria?
Christians
Yeah.
were being
Yeah.
targeted
So my
for
mind
practicing their religion.
Yeah, my mind was, so what does Nigeria have? You know, there's this...
Do you know what they have? I
yeah,
didn't actually
a
look.
lot of natural resources. Africa is very rich in terms of natural resources. I think I forget what's his name. Nelson Mandela.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, someone big, someone very, very popular. Many years ago, they were going to make a bank that was backed by natural resources. So right now, our economy, our banking system, everything is backed by the confidence of the U.S. government, and it's like the petrodollar, right? So the military and like the government's strength allows the dollar to remain intact, but it's no longer backed by anything. Right. We used to have a gold standard where our dollars were backed by gold. They print an X amount of dollars, but that amount of dollars they have in gold reserves. The gold vaults are empty and there's all this money circulating. So the dollar is not backed by anything. It's fiat currency, so it's not real. It's just paper.
So if I wanted to take my $40 to the bank and give me gold for my 45.
Oh, they wouldn't have gold, but it's just saying that your dollar is worthless unless the U.S. government exists.
Damn.
And they wanted I think he wanted to make a bank in Africa that was backed by the natural resources in
Really?
Africa. We'll later fact check it because I'm pretty sure it's an involved story, but
Yeah.
it's somewhere around along those lines. As a Christian, I was like, yes, Christians are getting massacred. We should help. But in our process of helping, we're also gonna take. Let's just be real. That's what's gonna happen.
Well, a lot of Africa has conflict, and Sudan is another place that's having a lot of conflict right now. They went viral recently because the rebels and then the military of Sudan were, taking over, and essentially they started targeting regular civilians. So they would hang women, they would rape them, they would also rape kids. It was rape kids. It was terrible, and a lot of them tried to flee, but they were shot, killed, tortured, and that's in Sudan. And so they also have Christians, I would say, but a lot of them are also Muslim. So it's like, why don't we help them too?
Yeah. Imagine they were coerced.
They were what?
They're the militia and in Africa is being paid by the CIA in order to create this conflict. And so on the surface level, it's us coming to the rescue, but in reality, it's
we're the evil people. That is sad if that's the case. And maybe that happened in Nigeria too. Who knows?
But
these are conspiracies that happen.
What side would you want to be on, though?
You can't really be on. I wouldn't want to be over there because then I'll get raped.
Like they say, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah, because like at the end of the day, we're able to benefit heavily.
I want to be on the right side of this.
There's no right side to this world.
Yeah, like
really
I want to be
on what side, morally speaking.
Morally speaking, was probably the victims because.
Really? So you would rather be in Africa, fearing for your life?
I would create change.
Inspired change?
Yes, I would be the leader too.
I mean, it just goes to show, like, the privileges that we have.
No, it's crazy because, and that's what, now I'm gonna transition to Gaza and Israel, the conflict that's been happening there. Unfortunately, I've looked into it more in depth, and there was this soldier interview that I saw that he was like a veteran and he got rehired to go help out the Israeli military. And during the time there was an instance where, they're not giving them food. They're depriving them from food and drink and water. And that's what I mean. Like, I feel like every human shouldn't be deprived of those things. And so in one situation, like even kids, and this is where this military guy said, I had enough. He was in the control room, and then there was like a superior who was like part of the Israeli military group, and he was like, they were putting a child up so that he can get food, and the child didn't really want to be up, and it's because they were getting squeezed by everybody like running to get the food, and there was gates, and so they put him up so that the child would be safe. But as soon as they saw him there, the military head, he was like, no, if somebody doesn't take that child down, I'm ordering you guys to shoot them, or to kill them. And the guy was like, what do you mean? Did you just tell him to shoot, a kid? And he was like, it's my rules, my control, and then I get to make the shots. And luckily the kids were taken down before it escalated even worse. But there has been situations where, unfortunately, since it's war, they abuse their power. And recently there's been videos circulating of how the Israeli military were raping the refugees that they had. And it was very graphic. It showed them lining them up or taking them and doing things to them. So, these things are happening. And even in the side from Hamas, they do the same thing where, especially because the whole thing that's restarted this conflict, because they've always been in conflict for a really long time. In the most recent was when they had the musical festival near the border of Gaza, and a lot of Israelis attended this music festival, and during the madrugada or early morning when the festival was coming to the end, the sun was rising, Hamas ended up coming and shooting, and that's been the most people they've killed. And so a lot of people there, they were taken, and they were also abused and mistreated. And a lot of people were taken as refugees as well. And so it's very sad. There's like a whole documentary on YouTube that I watched. I'm going to display it so if anybody wants to watch it. But like both sides are suffering. Both are innocent people. There's, injustices happening in when it comes to war, and they say they're going to end it and they end up striking again, and it's all because of money and power.
The army system has always had injustices for women and maybe even men, who knows. But I've seen a bunch of movies, maybe one movie, I don't remember the name of it, but it shows that they rape women. And in the movie, basically, they rape the general's, the highest up, daughter. And he didn't know until later on he found out. He couldn't do anything. They obligated him to keep quiet. And she had to suffer that, consequences, and the dad didn't help her.
Like, I don't want to take away what's happening out there, right? Like, anything that involves innocent lives being murdered, any kind of genocide, any kind of, like, rape, I think it's a bad thing, and it should definitely come to a stop. I was never really heavily informed about what's going on, because I think there are more pressing matters that here in the United States. To give an example, the war on drugs in Mexico. Like, did you guys know against the Mexican cartels, more people have been murdered than the people that have been suffering in Gaza and the Ukraine war together?
Dang, that's crazy.
If you take the death tolls of the Ukraine war against Russia and Israel and Gaza, there's a larger death toll because of the Mexican cartel. And yet that's not something that's publicized.
Damn.
Well, I think with the Mexican cartel, it's like they actually torture and kill. And in the situation, I'm not saying, famine is a real thing, but and then a lot of people are suffering malnutrition, but they're not dying yet. So it's like a slow torture, but the cartel is like more, like they do torture and then you're died.
Yeah, like the death count is higher. And who's protesting about our Mexican? Like, imagine Latinos.
Because
here in the States, imagine Mexicans protesting for Ukraine or Gaza, but yet in our motherland, this is happening. Just imagine this: after their protests, they all get together and they drink alcohol and then they do drugs, the same drugs that fund the massacre of their people. Does that make sense?
That's crazy.
How hypocritical would that be if you as a Latino are protesting against what's happening out there, but yet you're funding what's happening in our motherland? Right? And so just picture this. What happens with foreign affairs is something that's truly out of our control. The bureaucracy that it takes to make change in the U.S. is slow, right? Why? Because you have to vote the right people in. And that's a process. It could happen, but it's very, very difficult, right? And so whenever you vote people into office, it's not a guarantee that they're going to do what they're supposed to do. But whenever re-election comes around, you are able to hold that against them. Like, we elected you, you didn't do what we wanted you to do, what you said you were going to do, so now we're going to go in a different direction. So that is the political process. And so the powers that be, when it comes to foreign affairs, is something that is always going to be out of our control. The powers that be, they're going to do their will. If they want to help Israel, that's going to happen. But against this war on drugs, we've already established earlier that it's one of the biggest causes for homelessness. So, like I said, establishing a sense of community. There's a reason why you don't do drugs, and there's a reason why you don't do drugs. Purpose, family, relationships, a sense of community, right? And that is all something that all of us have a power to create. A direct change that could literally put a huge dent to the power that the cartels have. Why? Because if we ensure that our brothers and sisters and our cousins and our neighbors are not down in the dumps to the point where they have to consume drugs, they themselves are going to feel the impact of that. We don't have to go through a voting process. that combined with the first president ever to create, I don't know if it's the first, but recently, like when it comes to the cartels, I've never really heard anything against them ever since Ronald Reagan, where his wife went publicly to tell the Americans that drugs are not a good thing. And according to Pablo Escobar movie series, it was because the U.S. wasn't receiving their cut, right? So billions of dollars were just flowing into Colombia. And Uncle Sam couldn't stand that. So according to the show, the war on drugs was really used as a way to fund the war against communism. An administration that's going against the cartels. And then you have a sense of a community in which their sole purpose is to drive young people away from consuming any and all types of drugs. What does that do to the U.S.? It obviously is going to create a better future. And so if we do not purchase those drugs, we have a direct impact on what happens to one of the least spoken about massacres, which is the Mexican cartel.
The problem is that politicians who are trying to stop the cartel and the crime are being murdered.
Exactly.
There's multiple cases that happened this year, and one of them recently was in our motherland, Michoacan.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos was a mayor in Uruapan, Michoacan, and he was assassinated on the day of the death because he was advocating for the stop of violence. And now his wife has taken the lead, and she was being criticized because she has 2 young children, and they were saying, like, how about if you also get killed? But she said that this fight is not going to end. But there was a lot of protests that happened in Morelia and just in general in Michoacan.
Yeah.
People,
like, I'm telling you, like Mexico is such a beautiful country.
I've never seen that uproar before. You know,
it's a beautiful country, and like this issue with the cartels, if they were to just get rid of it somehow, like Mexico would be
better.
A superpower.
Yeah.
Like
they have so many resources.
Yes, like it would be so much better than what it is today, right? And then not to mention the entire world in general, it would do a lot better if we're just not consuming drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Like drugs is like the number one thing that can guarantee you to fail in every aspect of life.
God said in the Bible that you can move mountains if you want to. So if it says that, then there's a possibility you could stop that addiction. Or anything, not just drugs. But since we're talking about drugs, that's my example.
And the last thing I'm going to say about Gaza, apparently, you know why they want to get rid of everything there? Like, they're destroying and trying to move the population and take over. Because they want to build a resort.
A resort?
Yeah, they want to make it a futuristic city and invest in it.
Assholes. They could keep the people.
Allegedly. Because, I don't know. But apparently there's been, like, images of the plan. So, that's insane.
Wait,
Damn.
You know what's interesting? Don't, like, okay, you know Mr. Beast? This might be just a theory right now that I thought of. He's making these amusement parks. Imagine he's an investor for that.
That's crazy.
Just to make
what he was
creating.
Involved a lot in Africa, and I think that's where he met his current girlfriend, wife. I don't know.
I don't know. But he's also working with somebody, and I don't know where that guy is from. And I think they help him create these amusement parks and these games for him.
Interesting. You asked if, like, maybe there's something larger happening or potentially aside from war. I don't know. Maybe there's something that's coming, because did you know that multiple senior officials in the Trump administration have moved to military bases in Washington, D.C. for safety reasons, apparently.
Wow.
So Stephen Miller, who has been, involved with advocating against immigrants and trying to deport them and things like that, he's moved there. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, Pete, Secretary of Defense, and Frank Panetta, senior official.
Wait, they moved into the White House?
The military base. They say that because supposedly security concerns, a desire to shield officials from protests outside of their private residencies. A suspect had shot at or towards U.S. Border Patrol during an immigration operation in Chicago. Allegedly, that's what Homeland Security said. And they have finally captured the suspect. He is unfortunately an immigrant from Mexico, and he previously convicted for aggravated unlawful use of weapon, vehicle, felony possession of weapon, and illegal entry. And so, that's not good. I didn't necessarily want him to be an immigrant because, it doesn't help our community's case.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And something that is very tragic too is that they say that at least Homeland Security and police reports were saying that protesters were throwing bricks. So were those bricks placed there? Like, where did they get the bricks from? It's there's a lot of like he said, she said kind of situation, and sometimes the videos that bystanders are publishing on social media demonstrate that the ICE agents are being the ones that are violent. And in this case, there's this user who recorded ICE agents kind of holding tear gas, and because the whole situation and the revolt started when they were trying to detain a woman, and people started saying like, don't do that, and like talking and advocating for her. And so when they were being like I guess the people were protesting, they started like bringing up tear gas, and then somebody in the video, you could see that one of the agents threw something that kind of had a flash, and then smoke came out. And so I think the problem too has been the way they've been conducting these raids and how they're doing it, because there's another video that went viral specifically from that day in where this family was just driving in the parking lot of Sam's Club in Chicago, same area. And since the raids were happening, the officer drove by, and the person had his windows down, and they weren't doing anything. They were just driving in the parking lot to leave or like go to Sam's Club, and they just happened to be in the middle of this chaos, and the immigration patrol pepper sprays them, and then it went into his face, and it went into the 1-year-old daughter who was in the back seat. And so the father went to the hospital for like damages on that, but they weren't doing anything. So it's like, why did the agent in the video, he sprays it and you can see it clearly. So if it wasn't for these videos, they're reporting other information. And there's another story that controversial because it also happened in Chicago. So there's this woman who was going around the community driving. It happened around October. And essentially she was driving around and she was telling people, hey, ICE is here, like be careful, things like that. And so I guess the Border Patrol started following her, or he was near her, around her. And so the Border Patrol alleges that she hit him and she prevented it, like, the accident. And when she hit him, he shot at her like more than 5 times. She survived. He ended up taking his car so that they fix it. And he went through his supervisor, they fixed it. So he technically erased evidence. And so she now alleges that she was just, driving, doing her thing, and he was the one who came into her. And on top of that, there's texts and receipts that show that he was mocking, like, oh, take note to the other Border Patrol agents. I just shot this woman 5 times. Who can do the same? Or things like that. So now it's in court. She was at first arrested, and she had to pay like a whole fee regarding the situation.
That's crazy.
That's horrible.
Yeah. His story also contradicted to what he said to the statement to the FBI. So they interviewed him like twice or something like that. And they questioned him like, oh, why did you contradict yourself too?
And they're just criminals doing their will, right? And I mean, eventually
the ICE agent
from both sides. Because I mean, if you ram into another vehicle and then shoot someone 5 times, like, how do you walk away from that clean? Or why would you even do that to begin with? Like, even a police officer, like,
shouldn't do that.
Like, you had to have, like, he has to have a weapon or pose some kind of life-threatening officer in order for that to even be a thing. And then same thing with the other guy, like the immigrant the guy that shot at the ICE agents, who turned out to be illegal. Like, what is that gonna do? Like, that's just a criminal doing a criminal act. It has nothing to do with anything. It's just that so individual who unfortunately is being associated with a hardworking class decided to commit a crime.
But nobody was
in
hurt.
a chamber. Okay, no one was hurt.
No.
Okay, so that's you know, like, what are you doing? Like, even if you did hurt someone, that act in itself is only going to make things worse for members of your community.
Yep.
Because it gives them an incentive to crank down even further so that things like that don't happen.
Anything related to you owning a gun, if you're police or an ICE agent or anything, they need to be more stricter with them, whoever's in charge. I was just gonna say, when you guys posted on TikTok, I seen the comments, it was disgusting. Like, they were praising the immigrant.
I think it is.
It's like,
that's
it's
pretty
disturbing.
Disgusting. Yeah, like
it's
the fact.
disturbing.
I think anything that relates to shooting, murdering, or any, like, whatever side it comes from, it shouldn't be happening.
You know, like we did a post on TikTok where Jocelyn did a quick report on the ICE agents getting shot at, and then the comment section was just supporting that. Like, that's not who we are as a community, and I don't agree with that at all. And it is completely disgusting that anyone would ever say, oh, that person should get away, oh, good for them. Like, no, that's something.
It's
dumb
like
and
saying the narc, it's okay for the narc to shoot the other person. Like,
it's the same. Yeah, exactly. Like, if the ICE is abusing their power, like Jocelyn said, that's also like, that's horrible. Like, that lady, she got shot 5 times after getting rammed into. Like, what?
And it was a U.S. citizen. There's another story that went viral of a man who was in a car, and his wife was with him too, as well as his child, and they wanted to arrest his wife because she was undocumented during an immigration raid, and he started having a seizing. The agents claimed that it was fake seizure. People, bystanders, and everybody said it was a medical emergency. They still arrested his wife, but they were saying it was insensitive given the fact that the child was also there and he needed to be hospitalized. But allegedly, according to ICE, the woman was illegal, and on top of that, she was being accused of trying to stab like a coworker with scissors.
Damn.
Or something like that. So who knows? That story is also under development.
Honestly,
there's like a lot
guy,
of ICE detaining certain suspects, and that need to be
something crazy happens,
investigated, because it's not like just black and white. In the last example that has happened recently in Chicago, there's video showing of a daycare worker who was being pulled out of the daycare in the morning, where supposedly students were also present, or children were present, or children are being dropped off. The ICE officers claim that they were following her and they tried to detain her, but she refused or something like that. Bystander video shows that she was inside the daycare and they were bringing her out. She was obviously sought after for being an immigrant here, and because she helped smuggled her 2 teenage children into the U.S. and apparently crossing them over is illegal and a crime. So that's what she's being accused of. But people were saying that supposedly they didn't want agents going inside schools tormenting teachers or staff. Fast fashion in China. Shein opened up its first storefront in France, the fashion capital of the world. And I think it's interesting because what?
They opened the store?
Yeah.
They still had the audacity to open up a store? It's because I know what she's going to say.
Shein?
Yeah, Shein. It started off online. They were selling
clothing brand.
A clothing brand. Well, clothing store.
What's his first name or last name?
They also have a marketplace.
Sheina. I'm just kidding.
So they allow other vendors, I guess, or other people to sell things there. And in that platform, unfortunately, they were selling sex dolls that were childlike appearance and
Holy
weapons.
Shit.
So that is being under investigated right now, currently.
Shein?
Yeah, Shein.
Do you
Which
know
is kind
what
of
Shein is now?
surprising, though. It's kind of it kind of reminded me of like the whole Balenciaga scandal of like children
I
trafficking
don't know.
and stuff like
This
that.
seems worse.
Yeah,
Because
Because they
that
actually
was an
had
ad.
yeah, it was pictures in an ad, but it was a meaning, deeper meaning to the situation, and they had like court files on the pictures in the Balenciaga situation. But anyways, it's both situations are scary and
You
tragic.
know what? And this is really quiet. I haven't seen it on the internet a lot as much of other things.
Yeah, well, it happened in Europe, and so I don't know if that's one of the case. But apparently, that store, like, it drew like about 50,000 people were lined up. It opened Wednesday, and the thing is because it's very affordable.
Mm-hmm.
So you can buy like a lot of clothes,
This is from
and it could be Lilo. Are you wearing shit?
Oh, by the
Right,
way,
don't
I
put it.
purchased the shirt.
Don't put it on there.
No, I've been guilty of buying and purchasing from there because there was a time where I was like,
You're like, fuck Shein.
I thought they were really cool.
Let me see what they got.
They were cute little outfits, and I was going on vacation to Cabo.
Well,
But the
you know-
thing is, like, sadly, the people working for those jobs in China are paid. There's also a lot of like child labor. It's also bad for the environment. Also for your skin. So the material that the fabric is
supposedly,
made
if
of,
I sweat, my skin is absorbing
those chemicals, and then
from the
also
shirt.
the dyes. Like everything is just really bad. And
The
on top
people-
of that, the pollution that's causing.
Soy
But-
pobre. No, no te creas.
I mean, it's just it gets into this idea of like consumerism. Like you always want to have the latest trends and changing and updating your wardrobe, so it makes it easy for that. And I guess that's what a lot of the criticism happened.
No tengo
But
dinero.
There's been like rumors that apparently this shop that was open, it's not going to be the first one. They're testing out the waters, and they want to open more throughout France. So it seems to be successful. I saw this blogger state that they were matching whatever you bought online in the store. So if you
Oh.
bought like $100 of
Now that
products
got
online,
me. And I'm
be
sold. I'm just kidding.
to get $100 worth also in person. But it's very interesting though, because you know
Oh,
Paris
nuts.
is known for expensive sheer, like the top fashion, and for China to be coming in with affordability, it's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
And it's war against the fashion industry.
Honestly, why are you doing that? Like,
The whole
no,
thing-
you know what? There's people already know that what they're selling, and they still went to that opening.
I know. And they're thinking also of opening one in Australia. I wonder.
So the whole child sex doll,
Mhm.
was it in their store?
Sex
or
doll appearance. It was online on a marketplace.
online?
Yeah,
And
so
people are still support that?
I
I have a
guess.
conspiracy
There
theory.
was people protesting outside the store too, though.
Oh no no
And
no!
they had
You know what I
posters.
saw? This woman. I mean, I'm not gonna put it. It's because Johnson comes in, titties all out, into my room, and I was like, "Girl, you know what that reminds me? Woman
Yeah.
in Europe, tittyless,
Oh,
out
I-
in the street protesting because of Shein."
Oh, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, that was
I
that.
was like, I can get behind this. What are they
My
protesting
God!
about?
That's what they were protesting
Okay.
about.
I
the
didn't,
woman.
I didn't even know what they're protesting. I just saw titties everywhere. I'm like, "Can live longer if
Oh.
they see titties."
No way. That's insane.
That's-
There's
That's
some
fake
science
news.
behind that.
So yeah, people are still buying, and that's the problem. that's what I'm saying. Like, I regret purchasing from them. If I would have known this then, I wouldn't have purchased. And like, you know, I have a friend who works, you know, in the fashion industry, and she's involved. And when I told her that an outfit that I had was from Shein, she was kind of like frowning upon me. So after that encounter, I came home and I researched, and I was like, why, you know, was she against it? And so, valid. After that, I never bought clothes from Shein, and I told Lilo.
I stopped buying, honestly.
Yeah.
But then I think I also stopped buying because I'm being more wise with my money.
Yeah, I
haven't
think
even
like
bought
mainstream media is trying to normalize that. That's the whole conspiracy theory. The powers that be supposedly are like crazy into children like that, and so they try to normalize it by dropping hints. And I came across this theory the other day that supposedly, you guys remember the left, like liberals, were trying to advocate for sex change for kids without the parental consent. So essentially that is like a political move because it's being masked as equality and inclusivity towards all genders and people who are part of the LGBTQ community. But deep inside, the real motive was to allow younger people to have control over their body. That way sexual consent can be a much younger age. Because if you have the power to change your body's anatomy and take testosterone or remove your genitalia, essentially you are able to have sex at a younger age. Does that make sense? And so that supposedly that was the real motive behind, that. And
that's
so,
creepy.
Yeah, if that's true, like, that'd be crazy.
That's just sad.
Yeah, but
and it's also crazy because like I've seen people who have done it already where they've experienced with transitioning at a young age, and they've always come out saying that they regretted it and that they always end up finding faith and regretting it. So if you guys are seeing this, why are you allowing it? Why are you feeding it? Why are you...
I mean, yeah, that's a huge rabbit hole. Like, we're going to steer crazy away from this. And, we've been sitting here for hours, and I kind of want to get through this.
Yeah.
But just to put things into perspective, they asked a kid whether he would want $10,000 or like 10 Oreos. And he picked 10 Oreos without knowing that the $10,000 can buy more than 10 Oreos and do a lot more than that. And so the argument was, if a child can pick 10 Oreos over Oreo cookies over $10,000, like, what business does he have deciding whether or not he should change his genitalia? And so...
Yeah, that's insane. So everybody knows how we like live streaming for our taco catering business, for those of you who follow us on TikTok. And essentially, have you heard of Tea Time, influencer? I didn't know of her before.
No.
But she was live streaming while driving.
Oh,
and
she crashed. Oh, wait.
Can you not believe? Yeah.
Well, what else is going to happen?
Yeah, she was live streaming while
she's driving. Like, what else is going to happen?
She was, I guess there's people who are really obsessed with live streaming. And she was driving and she was reading a comment. She got distracted and a pedestrian walked in front of her and she hit him.
Damn.
Her kids were in the seats.
Really?
Yeah, and behind.
Oh, shit.
The pedestrian ended up dying. And so now there's investigation happening. She obviously stayed in the scene, and for that she complied with all the rules and stuff, but she's gone private in her account and everything, and people are claiming that she deserves to be punished for the situation.
Wait, but how the heck did someone clip it?
Because she was live streaming, and people would just record things.
No.
Yes, crazy.
Let me explain to you, sir. But why would would someone be recording it at that given moment?
Can I talk? Because live streamers, when they make you pay to watch their live, right? The ones I think they're relevant,
they
right?
had clippers.
And they have those clippers to make money off of their face on their own accounts. So that's why they screen record these live streams to post it on their accounts.
Why don't I have clippers?
No, do not say that. No.
Not yet.
Record everything and post it. Make me famous.
No.
You'll literally have it in the future if our platform just blows up. Like, we're gonna have clippers. They're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, these little..."
No, but like live streamers
cute
will
little
also,
Apple Pencil.
Yeah,
like,
they will
they're
also
gonna
pay clippers so that they can post and I'll pay clippers so that they can send me clips on my live stream that I can use to post on social media.
So yeah, this happened in Illinois, and it occurred in November 4th. Around 5:46 p.m. The pedestrian was Darren Lucas. He was 59 years old.
Damn. Imagine.
Wait, what just happened?
Here lies Devin, killed by a streamer.
That's not funny.
No,
so
it's not. It's horrible.
Do y'all think that she should be punished? for this situation.
I think she's gonna get jail time for sure.
I mean, she's not arrested yet, but who knows. And today,
TikToker
November
killed someone.
10, where a Kick streamer, Jackie, reportedly crashes into a car while live streaming after getting distracted by chat. For these streamers, you know, they were doing their thing driving, and then maybe they had green screen, or I don't know how they did it. But like sometimes his live streams get restricted for like the most ridiculous things. So how is it that these streamers are not being restricted or banned by this point? Like they're causing actual harm.
But I think you said one of them was from Kick.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
woman.
it's a different platform.
Well, yeah, but now the video is going viral. But it's different platform. But
I'm pretty sure
she's still a live streamer.
Kick would have
Yeah, I think
more
she got.
lax streaming restrictions.
But she still got, I think, restricted or something like that.
But I mean, to your point.
Honestly, like these streamers that I've been seeing on my For You page, there's this one girl. She supposedly sexually assaulted a guest, and supposedly that'll happen, and they banned her from live streaming. And I don't know if it was true or not, but like that happened, and now she's back streaming, and her fans like brushed it off. Like they were mad, but then she gave her opinion. She said she's sorry, and then they brushed it off. So that's even crazy. Like, how are you guys allowing them, like, have a platform?
So when is live streaming becoming too much? When should it be restricted? When should it not? Leave your comments below. Meta Ray-Bans, the glasses. Early fall, there was a story going viral on Reddit. I just wanted to mention it because I was shocked. Essentially, this woman went to the doctor in Orange County, California, and the doctor had Ray-Bans on while he was examining her. So
The glasses?
Oh shit!
Yeah.
He's recording it.
And so then they were saying like, yeah, because she was in an OBGYN, and she didn't feel comfortable, and like she saw like people. So what do you do in those situations? Like, when does it become too much for you to be documenting with, in that situation? It's not. I would assume that nobody should be doing that.
He can lose his practicing license.
Exactly.
Like that's not. Like a lot of nurses that went viral on TikTok ended up like losing their jobs. Yeah, so there's actually strict rules when it comes to them recording.
Supposedly the glasses were not on when the situation was happening, but you still have that. Like if you see them, like, and you recognize them, like it's just. Well, I don't know. I think it's becoming.
I would have been like, "Don't examine me until those glasses are off. If not, I'm leaving and booking in a different hospital."
Yeah.
And sue. Or not sue, but tell somebody higher up in that hospital that there's a man with glasses that record.
I don't think it's that serious.
The whole recording? I think so. I don't think they should be allowed.
If he gets caught, he's going to get sued.
Yeah, but I don't think they should be allowed
the hospitals
inside.
have deep pockets. She's going to get compensated. Like, it doesn't matter.
They probably just compensated her.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Keep her quiet.
Yeah, keep going on with your lives. I don't think that's an issue at all.
I think it's an issue because if they're using... These meta glasses are becoming more engraved into our society. So you'll be okay if they're checking your prostate to check if you have cancer. You don't care. What? Michael.
Show the world, Wizzy.
Oh, hell no.
You named it?
Wizzy.
There's been a lot of people complaining in the whole world, right now. And did you guys know Starbucks employees are protesting?
Really? Why?
Oh my god.
Because they want higher pay.
To make coffee?
But here's the thing. Not only higher pay, but the reasons they're complaining is because Starbucks is implementing like a new dress code. And they're like mad about that. Basically, Starbucks, the company, didn't let them know or like ask them if they're okay with this dress code, and the employees are protesting about that now. It's just a black t-shirt. The bottoms is either black or khaki or blue denim, and then the apron, the green apron.
I don't think there's anything wrong with them having uniforms, but I do feel like it becomes challenging if they're not providing them for them. Because I think McDonald's, they give them to you when they hire you. So if like Starbucks does not pay for them.
Yeah, they're saying that it's stressing. The employees are getting stressed because now they have to worry about dress code. They are saying that they're understaffing. So there's less people helping them in making coffee.
It's stressful. Making coffee is stressful.
And they're saying that their whatever contract they signed for Starbucks, that they're not like following the law for what's in that contract. They're not being fair with the employees there. And they feel like Starbucks is like focusing more about how focusing more of the visuals of how Starbucks image looks, how the employees look, how how you guys noticed when you walked in Starbucks, they changed everything. They're focusing more on the appearance rather than their employees, so that's why they're protesting. So it's not just because of higher pay.
Yeah, it's gonna drive the cost of everything. Not that it matters to me because I don't even go to Starbucks anymore, but like last time we went, I spent like what, $25 for 3 drinks.
Really?
Because you're buying the holiday drinks, and they upcharge those. I've noticed.
Still,
if you were
like,
to try to find, like, tell them, oh, I want this, instead of ordering a holiday drink, it'll be less money.
Forgot to mention, these employees are walking out. So they're going to work and then they're walking out, leaving the Starbucks empty. So that affects the business, and it's making them harder for them to like reach a deal for them because they're doing this stuff. And it's crazy, they took out the bear cup, and I thought it was probably because they saw their sales falling. They probably saw that there wasn't enough money coming in, and they wanted to do a little strategy called the buzz item, where they drop a product during times of trouble and they shift the narrative.
Well, people were making fun of that situation because they said that maybe the reason they didn't have enough bear cubs was because they were recycling from the drop that they did in Asia. So they have already released those in Asia.
Damn. No, but buzz just means like hyper excitement over something.
I know, but it was judging. Oh.
That's not what buzz means, but so don't say I know because you don't.
Buzz is like making
there's 2 different types of buzz meanings.
Buzz is like
in business.
Yeah.
Like making a fuss and noise.
But yeah, like you said, buzz, like something that's hype currently has a lot of attention. Yeah. Something that has a lot of attention. So they took an item to create like a buzz around it and to drive more sales. Like and even publicity. Though they went and most of them didn't get a bear, but they probably still left with their cup of coffee. Yeah. Because they're bots.
I would have been pissed. I would have.
Honestly,
I should have asked her cousin.
It was on
she
purpose.
Left with the
no, she didn't.
I think it was on purpose. Another person.
Oh, one time, something about buzz. I'm sorry. I was at a Christmas party. It was a long time ago when I used to be social. But we were playing King's Cup, and this is a drinking game from college, right? And we had to do like buzz, like sounds. Someone was like buzz. That's not a sound, right? That's the name of a sound, right? There's like buzz. So a buzz would be like bzzz, you know what I mean? And then it got to me, and then I was like kick. What? Yeah, because it's the name of a sound. Like a drum, like a kick, and then everyone was like, "No, you drink." I was one of the only guys that was playing, and obviously I always win because I'm a winner. But everyone was just like telling me to drink, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna drink. But I just thought it was funny. So super random story. I try to make the argument, but there's just so many women just like overwhelmingly going against me. But I was gonna make the point that the guy previous to me, he didn't do a sound, he named a sound. So when it got to me, I named a sound as well, which was kick. Otherwise I would have been like or something like that. Anyway, super random ago.
Another person who launched a strange product was Kim Kardashian. Basically, she launched a bushy thong.
A thong with a bush.
Because she does this marketing strategy called provocative marketing. And I thought it was so cool and funny because imagine we came up with a provocative marketing strategy for an
What would it
item.
be?
I don't know. That's why that's
Party.
my question to you guys. What would you do for a provocative item?
Absolutely not.
Me in a Speedo. I'd be like, now offering chorizo.
I should have not asked.
That would be hilarious.
Why hers works though? It's because, for example, this one, the bushy thong, it was like they wanted to create the topic again about woman hair, like empowerment of hair.
Bullshit.
I know.
She's all lasered off.
Like-
She has no hair.
Oh no, shit.
She says that she doesn't have
Oh.
any. But essentially they had different colors.
Mm.
Red hair.
Oh
Right.
yeah, I was just more
Blonde.
interested of how
The marketing.
it's called,
behind.
the marketing part, because it's like they create a you create a product that starts a trend instead of following one. So that's very cool, because it starts people to talk and social media and whatever interests you, right? And it causes people to react how we react. We're like, what the heck? Like, that's crazy. And it makes you curious as well. And it makes you go on the website and look at the thong. And then they end up looking at her website and they're like, I might not want that thong, but I sure do want some of these undies or these bras, And that's a really cool marketing strategy.
And they
say.
were sold out.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
They were sold out. Supposedly.
Have you seen them?
No. Well, anything Kim Kardashian related, it shouldn't surprise me.
Her brand, Skims, is about owning the conversation about the female body.
Why would you want a thong with a bush if you can grow your own bush?
Kim K did not pass her bar exam, which I think is very disappointing. No, I think if I had her position, I would have passed it already. Especially if she's using ChatGPT. Like, if I have access to all the AI,
Well, here's the thing about Kim. She's has the ability to pay for the best
Ooh, that too.
study guides and things like that. And
That's
she still didn't
crazy.
pass it. That says a lot about the exam.
Ooh.
About the exam?
You know,
I'm getting her credit. That
No,
she's
wait.
smart, but
another thing.
I would say the exam is hard. I don't know.
Another
I've never
thing.
taken it.
Another thing, she could have access. No, she could literally pay somebody to make her pass it. Corruption. No, but she
Yeah,
doesn't
like
do
the
it.
movie Suits.
That's what
I
they
haven't
did.
seen it.
Mike Ross was this genius. He has or I wouldn't say genius, it's just a photographic memory. And so they would pay him to pass the LSATs for them when he
Damn.
was in college.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And so that's why he was able to be a lawyer as a fraud, because he had
He could just remember.
he had
You know
access
that's
to everything.
a true story.
Supposedly, I think the idea of a guy that didn't go to law school to be a lawyer
Mhm.
is a true story, like you said. But I'm not sure if he had a photographic memory. Like there's this scene, right, where he wants the IT department guy to give him a favor, but it's borderline illegal. And so he basically said, there was like a sheet right in front of the guy because they were standing next to a printer, and he grabs it and he looks at it, but it's filled with a bunch of characters, like coding. And then he looks at it and he's like, okay, if you can grab this, if I can tell you each and every single one of the characters, you'll do this favor for me, and if not, I'll give you $10,000. And then
He hustled him.
and then yeah, exactly. And then he says, okay, Mike, you got yourself a deal, but if you get one comma wrong, I get my 10,000. And he's like, sounds good. And for the record, there's no commas. And then after that, like, he ended up doing the favor because he got every single character correct, since he has a photographic memory. It's a good scene.
Damn.
I wish I had a photographic memory. Actually, I don't know. Never
Dude,
mind.
we
That's
would
a lot of
thrive in
information.
college.
Well, not just college in general.
You would think that, but usually like the most genius or like talented and gifted people tend to be the most troubled. Like they have the most issues, like drug problems, and they go crazy.
Stranger Things is coming out. The Duffer Brothers are the directors from Stranger Things, and they were inspired by the game Dungeons and Dragons. It's a game that connects with the monsters in the show, like calling them names. So the producers used to play this as a kid, but in the show they connect it how these kids are playing it, and then later on they end up finding a girl whose name is 11 because the government labeled her as number 11 on her arm as a tattoo, and she has superpowers in the show and whatnot, like psychic abilities. She can move things.
So they made a board game off of the show.
Real life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
They didn't make the board game off the
Oh
show.
no.
The show was supposedly partially was inspired by a board game.
Yeah, they were also inspired by how in the 1950s through the 1970s there was a secret program called the MK Ultra. It was a CIA program, and the goal was to study mind control, telepathy, and psychological manipulation during the Cold War. They wanted to see if the U.S. could create super agents who could be controlled by drugs, hypnosis, and brain experiments.
I read about that, and that's insane.
So it's cool because the show shows that, literally.
And that's what the show essentially is about, experimenting on children and kidnapping them.
Yeah, it ran for about 20 years, ended in 1973. After being exposed in Congress.
Damn.
Wow. It took you that long?
That's kind of cool, though. I'm not going to lie.
No, that's
No,
sad
they were
and scary.
The thing is, they were also tortured.
Yeah, because the CIA tested on thousands of people, sometimes without their consent. So imagine me, they freaking sequestrarme.
And they tie you down, and then they just have you, like...
Injecting...
To do brain experiments? I don't think so.
Injecting you...
Yeah.
Oh.
Drugs in order to make you do that.
To keep you in a certain state. I mean, it's...
The experiment involved LSD, hallucination, drugs, sleep deprivation. Some of these experiments were done on children, prisoners and soldiers, and patients in hospitals who didn't know what was happening to them, which is crazy.
Yeah, and then they make them seem like they're going crazy.
Yeah, but they're not. Yeah, that's insane.
Even the government said it was for national security. We hear that a lot. I also noticed that Netflix uses audience analytics data that shows when people are most active. For the shows like Stranger Things, which have a huge teen audience, they dropped the new final season during school breaks and holidays. That's an excellent business move because more people are free to watch it. It trends faster online, and that is why we see spoiler alerts on social media, and that's what I hate. I hate those. And the buzz lasts longer. And the season drops on Thanksgiving break and Christmas Day, and the final episode on New Year's Eve. It's crazy.
The question is, who's going to be watching Stranger Things?
Me.
Let us know in the comment section if you plan on watching that show.
I also like all the art that they do, the makeup on these monsters and stuff. It's crazy. It looks so realistic. They did an amazing job. Like, that must take hours. Like, I heard one of the actors that plays the villain, that it took him... He had to sit down in a chair for 6 hours to get that makeup done, and it's crazy.
Oh, hell no, I couldn't do that. 6 hours?
Yeah. And then on top of that, you still have to memorize your lines and be ready in action.
Donald Trump proposed or has been thinking of wanting to do a 50-year mortgage on purchasing homes. So currently, the longest mortgage you can get is a 30-year mortgage. So essentially, your payment will get distributed among 50 years. It'll take you 20 years longer to pay off a home when you buy one, right? So when you buy a house, you get a 30-year mortgage. So after 30 years, technically you have finished paying it and the house is yours. From then on, you only take care of property taxes. But he wants to instill a 50-year mortgage because it'll increase affordability and younger people can have that restored American dream. And so here's some numbers. A $300,000 home with a 5% interest rate and a 5% down payment would cost $2,254 per month with a 15-year mortgage. $1,530 per month with a 30-year fixed mortgage. $300,000 home, you are able to get it for almost $1,500, a little over $1,500 with a normal 30-year mortgage. But that same mortgage, if it were a 50-year one, it would be $1,294.
Oh, damn.
So it's like a little over $200, like $230 a month extra. So that basically allows people to be able to afford it. So the average age of a first-time home buyer was 28 years old in 1991. But it has risen to 38 as of last year, 2024. 38 years old is the average. Age of a home.
So I'm not doing that bad. I still have time.
I still have 7 years until that average. Nationwide, the typical home buyer needs to earn $112,000 per year to afford the median priced home. So that's roughly $25,000 more than the typical household makes. So people aren't even making enough to be able to qualify for the median household.
Does that mean
the median price of a home? And so essentially this is supposed to allow Americans to be able to purchase a home. But obviously the negative downside is that you're going to have a mortgage for 50 years.
That's crazy.
And so the interest incurred over 50 years is substantial. I actually didn't get the numbers down, but it is a big difference.
It'll be worse, no? You would you end up paying more.
A ridiculous amount.
Damn.
And so also because of the 2008 financial crisis where they're just giving out mortgages to anyone without proof of income or anything. After that, they didn't allow, or so I think Congress doesn't allow for anything more than a 30-year mortgage. So you can't do a 40-year mortgage. So if this comes to pass, like he would have to get real creative on how he can present it, because something that helps mortgages is that equity that the homes build. When you have a 50-year mortgage, there's no benefit when it comes to the equity, just because the interest occurred over the 50 years ends up, essentially you'd be underwater. So what do you guys think about a 50-year mortgage?
I don't like having debt.
No, it's like if you have like a consistent job, it'll essentially you can get it.
You could pay it off.
Yeah, no, like your mortgage, whatever that number is, that's what it'll be for 50 years. So imagine that.
Also, even if like
right now
things will
you
go
get a
up
mortgage,
and down, you still have like that same payment.
Exactly. As a renter, this like you can pay $2,000 today, but in 5 years it can go up to $4,000 depending on how the market is and where you live, whereas opposed to a 50-year mortgage. And I think that's the same as the or it's similar. It's not the same because you would end up paying way more, but it's similar to the down payment assistance. Yeah, so essentially like you can seek help with providing a down payment to a home. So as long as you can afford the home via your financials, that's a lot of down payments. 20% here in California is a lot. We're talking about 100,000 plus because the houses are very expensive. So I mean, just think about it. 20% down on $1 million property, that's $200,000. Who has $200,000 just to put as a down payment? I mean, it's very few people would have that. The down payment assistance, essentially somebody else will be putting up the $200,000 in exchange for equity when you sell the home, right? And also, if a certain amount of time passes and you don't sell your home, then you would pay back that $200,000 gradually or in lump sum. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it's a similar thing. This 50-year mortgage, like it gets your foot into owning a home, but a lot of the benefits that come with owning a home kind of makes it not worth it. Like it essentially, like investing that money would be better. You'll be better off still renting and saving up your money, investing it until you're able to afford like a 30 or 15-year mortgage. But no one can afford a 15-year mortgage. You can, but I mean, most people would get the 30-year mortgage.
I would only get a house if I have like a good job, really good job.
You would have to,
Yeah.
because otherwise you wouldn't be able to afford it. There's a new stimulus. On Sunday, November 9th, the president said on social media account, people that are against tariffs are fools. We are now the richest, most respected country in the world. With almost no inflation and a record stock price, 401ks are highest ever. We are taking in trillions of dollars and will soon be paying down our enormous debt, $37 trillion. Record investment in the USA, plants and factories going up all over the place. And so he's essentially floating the idea of sending off a new stimulus as a result of the tariff income, which can be upwards of $2,000. Two Fed meetings, I believe, where they have cut interest rate, basically hinted at the quantitative easing, so that money printing is going to resume next year. And so those two things are inflationary. And then with this new stimulus, it could potentially be even more inflationary because they're pumping money into the system.
So they're causing an inflation?
Yeah.
What would be the point of causing an inflation?
If you own assets, inflation is good.
Really?
The value of your property goes up. The value of your gold, your crypto, everything, your stocks, your 401ks, like everything goes up.
Really?
with
That goes
inflation.
up if there's
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because they're putting money.
Yeah,
And
and so
then
that's the whole
sometimes
job
they're
of the Federal Reserve. They need to regulate that. So when inflation gets too high, they start to do quantitative tightening, which is they start taking money away from the system to fight inflation. And that kind of points to that the economy is not doing too well. When you do the opposite, which is quantitative easing, and you lower, and the increased interest rates. So going back, the increased interest rates to fight inflation. And so borrowing money becomes more expensive. And so like getting a home, getting a business loan, credit card, it becomes harder to borrow money. So when quantitative easing happens and they reduce interest rates, that means the economy is doing well and inflation is down, so that they can start reprinting money and pumping money into the system. And so what that stimulates the economy. So there's growth that happens, but in return of that growth is inflation, which means the value of your dollar goes down and everyday needs start to become more difficult to afford. This year, like because of inflation, like 10% of your money has been lost already.
Damn.
There's this idea that the inflation report is inaccurate, but I don't even know how they would construe it. Like I'm not really too informed on it.
What do you mean inaccurate? Like it's not the amount that they're saying?
Yeah. Like
And
it's
more?
worse exactly than what it actually is. What I have been seeing is that there's been a lot of market manipulation throughout this year. Like these headlines, they're causing the markets to pump or dump, but there's no liquidity. Like people don't have access to money. For example, when Trump announced the tariffs at the beginning of the year, everything went to heck. Recently, there's a huge crypto liquidation, and that caused the biggest crypto liquidation that has ever existed, bigger than COVID and bigger than the FTX collapse. And then it recovered slightly, or it actually recovered from that, maybe not to the levels that it once was earlier this year, but it's around there. And then recently with this again, he proposed the idea of a stimulus check. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen because it still needs to get approved by Congress, and then it caused crypto to move, right? But it's not like it shot to the moon. A couple months ago, we saw the total market cap of crypto was around $4 trillion, a little over than $4 trillion. Right now it's like at 3.7 or 3.5, something like that, 3.5 trillion. It hasn't recovered. It hasn't reached all-time highs. And this news about the stimulus is not like, it's just news. Like there's no actual money being poured into the system. There's no liquidity. And so that's something that a lot of investors have been waiting for, our exit liquidity to come into the game, so that, or retail to come into the game, so that, crypto can pump. And so when you lower interest rates and you make borrowing money easier, investors start pouring money into riskier assets like crypto. And so that's something that's good for me. The news about the stimulus is good news, but it has to pass. And once it does, all that money starts to flow into the hands of the wealthy. And then the market pumps, and then people take their profits. And after a while, it's going to dump again. In previous years, there's always been like a reason as to why markets pump and markets dump. And all of this year, it has been nothing but market manipulation. People are Trump saying something and it goes crazy. And then it recovers. And then news saying, oh, the biggest liquidation, like it was. But the only people that got wrecked was people who do leverage trading. So if you do like spot and you just hold it, you don't do anything. It goes down and then it recovers. But the people that were trading leverage, they got liquidated. Their accounts, everything went to zero. Some guy committed suicide because he ended up losing like $30 million or something like that, because all he did was leverage trading.
That's insane.
And if the market moves too fast in a downward or in an upward side, because you're borrowing money to trade, your account gets liquidated and you lose everything. So it's like the risk of doing leverage trading. So yeah, it's an interesting situation. But like if Donald Trump were to, or this administration were to approve the $2,000 stimulus check, and you would each get $2,000, what would you guys do with the $2,000?
Pay my truck.
What would you do with the $2,000? No, I'm being serious. Like, you're not waiting on Donald Trump to pay your truck bills, so
No,
that's not really a good answer.
If it came, I would use it for that. Or I finally get my red bottoms. Just kidding.
Go on vacation. No, I'm just kidding. I would want to
You would get your
invest.
Nintendo Switch. Stop it.
I
You would get your Nintendo Switch.
I want to invest.
It'd be like, yo, let's go out to eat.
I need
Like,
to
be honest.
invest.
What would you do?
I can't be a consumer.
What would you do?
I've been eyeballing these Steve Madden shoes. They're like
Huh?
100 and something. And then my red bottom.
No, it's because,
But
like, I don't want to buy anything, like, in terms of clothes or shoes anymore because I'm not perfecting my physique at all. I'm not trying. So that's one. And then food, I get food from you guys. And then three, I haven't been wanting to buy anything at all. Like, to be a consumer. Not even makeup.
You wanted gym leggings.
I did, but then look how they came out. They were too big on me.
I bought her some gym leggings, and
It's because I'm
she
short.
wanted flare. I didn't think that she would need petite, but I guess she did. I mean, they're kind of long on me too. So
Yeah, I'm short. I don't know.
a new phone.
But I haven't learned how to invest, so I can't really invest if I really wanted to. But maybe you know what I'll do maybe? Since I can't invest, I'll probably pay to learn more about AI.
We should go to an AI conference. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
You would do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of AI, and since we're still in the whole topic of...
Wait, what would you use for your 2000?
I'll say it right now, but I think that's a good thing to talk about. Something that could cause a huge market collapse would be this idea that we're in an AI bubble. When the internet first came around, there was a lot of these companies that were just selling a vision. So they would do a website, whatever it is, something.com. But a lot of these websites were useless, and they were generating venture capitalists. They were raising a ton of money to jumpstart their visions, and most of them were either not building something, or they were building something that was completely useless. Outside of that .com bubble, a lot of amazing companies emerged, like Amazon, Google, because they were actually putting in the work and investing in areas that, with the use of the internet, they were able to scale their business. So for example, Amazon started with selling books. And so when you have millions and millions of dollars being poured into these websites, the .com websites, Lilo.com, Jocelyn.com, Ismael.com, and all of us are raising millions and millions of dollars, but then eventually we all reach a point where we run out of money and our business isn't making any money. That's a bubble, right? And so then we're like, oh snap, we have all these employees, or we have this intricate system, and there's no more funding. Why? Because there's no use case for this, and we're not making any money. And so what ends up happening is these businesses start to fail. And then it's like a domino effect, right? This business fails, your business fails, your business fails. And so stocks start to plummet. The value of our businesses start to plummet. And there's less confidence in investing money into these .com things, right? Because it's fake. So these people actually looked at the internet as a lot of people see AI currently, and a lot of people see crypto currently. It's fake. It's going to go to zero. It's not going to work. Or it's not as crazy. But so essentially right now, with everything that's happening with AI, the reason why it's a .com bubble, it's similar to that, is because there's a lot of companies that are raising a lot of money for their AI projects, and there still haven't been any real implementation of AI. Like you go anywhere, there's no fully AI business.
Not even Elon Musk,
Right,
even
exactly.
though
And
only
so,
just giving out free popcorn.
And so we have seen that these companies, when they try to use AI, implement certain AI to do things with basic cognitive functions that involve like picking up things and, you know, just hands-on stuff, it malfunctions. It needs someone to supervise. It's not replacing employees. So it's costing a lot of money, and it's not doing anything. Money and energy, and it's not doing anything unless it's like a search engine like ChatGPT. This is my theory. There's going to be a melt up. And this is actually a stolen idea from like all the financial gurus that I've actually like been exposed to, because, you know, you're scrolling, you consume content, and this is the one that makes the most sense to me. They're going to keep printing money. Inflation is going to continue to be a problem, and the cost and goods of services are just going to continue to go up. And that's called a melt up instead. And that's something that actually makes more sense, because, you know, when I was in elementary school, the U.S. debt was like somewhere like around 10 trillion. And we were like, oh my God, it's crazy. And right now it's like 37 trillion dollars. It's a big issue that they haven't addressed. So they continue to kick the can down the road. And, oh, let's wait till the next administration to deal with it. Let's wait till the next administration to deal with it. And so currently, Donald Trump seems to be the only president who actually wants to get rid of that debt. You've never heard of this. Like when Obama and Biden were president, they never said anything about the debt. But unfortunately, in order to actually correct that, it's going to take a lot of pain and suffering, because they have to purposely tank the economy. And so there's another theory saying that he's going to utilize crypto to pay off the debt, which is also something that would be extremely, extremely smart, because the government, through fraud and the FBI, that they catch criminals who are doing money laundering, etc. Crypto that's being held illegally, they seize it, and then it becomes the U.S. government. So the government hasn't purchased any crypto, but technically they could. And if they do, and mind you, this is something that's in a blockchain, it'll drive the value of crypto to the moon.
Really? I thought it would be the opposite. It would tank because they're taking out.
No, if the government purchases crypto.
Because they're pouring in.
Yes, so then that means if the U.S. is pouring money into crypto, everyone is going to be like, oh, this is something that I need to do as well. And it's going to drive.
Everybody does it. And boom.
Yeah. And so, mind you, $4 trillion is a little bit.
Yeah. What? Wait.
No, it's not.
Yeah, the $4 trillion is the current value of the crypto world. It's $4 trillion. There's not enough money being pumped into crypto yet. All the money is elsewhere in other forms, like in banks and in the stock market and in properties. And mind you, the entire world has access to crypto, and yet it only consists of $4 trillion. So it's a very, very, very small percentage of the actual liquidity that exists in the world. And so if
everybody would pour into it, it would be more in value.
It'll skyrocket to the moon. It'll be a ridiculous amount.
Everybody would be rich.
People who invested early, yeah. But eventually people will be priced out. Like the average person it'll happen way too quickly. If that happens, they would just cash out, liquidate it, and everything can go to hell. But
you'll lose everything.
Yeah, I don't think that would be something that they would openly do. That's one idea, but actually, like, what's been seeming that it's going to be more likely is that Trump is purposely tanking the economy and causing things to go down in value, inciting a recession and making things more affordable. Is essentially a financial reset. Is something that is due to happen. Or what I think will happen would be, that's more likely, is just a melt up. Everything's just going to continue. And so leading to the point that I was making, This is why I always stress taqueros, people in my line of work, to raise their prices. They need to start attracting that clientele that is willing to pay top dollar. Essentially, like if you're still charging $500 for a service, it's not a good thing. Why? Because of the value, everything's going to be more expensive. You're going to be profiting less. And whatever it is that you're making is left over after the $500. What ends up happening is that it has less value. Like you can't survive off of it. Right? And so if you do not raise your prices, you're going to be forced to reduce the overall quality of your service in order for you to be able to turn a profit. In the next couple of months, it's going to be even more difficult for taqueros. If you properly position yourself, I think high inflation and this melt up can actually be an opportunity for your family. Another thing that is bullish and good news for crypto is that there's now legislation, the Genius Act.
What?
So crypto is
that.
No. This is going to get more boring. But
Well, sum it up in a sentence.
no.
You can't.
But
Michael,
essentially, there's all
that's
these
your
things in
segment.
place that point that crypto is going to do extremely well in the next couple of, like I would say, like by the end of this year.
So what do you do with your stimulus check, Michael? You didn't say it. I'm waiting for that.
I don't want to say because it just sounds so arrogant.
Are you buying something for yourself then?
No.
Then why is it arrogant?
It is because it's such an insignificant amount.
But, I
Like,
mean, but it's not as arrogant as buying red bottoms. That's arrogant.
no, but like me saying, oh, like I genuinely, like, what can you do with
Okay,
$2,000?
give it to me. I'll spend it.
Like they just pay my rent
Like,
and
just
move
give me
on.
the 2K. You give me your 2K. That's 2, 4, 5.
You know, like I have
6.
credit card bills because my
You know what
sister
I'll
spent
do?
too much. Like
You know
I'm just
what
gonna
I'll
pay
do?
that out.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'll do? I'll pay for that
Put
bear
out
cup.
crypto.
That $1,000 bear cup.
Comment down below if we get a stimulus check for 2K. What would you do
Leila's
with it?
using her stimulus check for the Starbucks bear
gonna
cup
buy-
on
Oh
eBay.
my God.
I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of GuacnChippies. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. If you haven't done so, make sure to like the video and subscribe.
Let me know who's watching Stranger Things. And let me know if you bought the thong, the
The-
bushy thong. And let me know if...
What will you do with your $2,000 stimulus check? And
That's-
please, nobody else say you'll buy the bear cup from Starbucks on eBay.
No,
Somebody send me the bear cup in my P.O. box for
Yeah.
Christmas. Just kidding.
Dina, I'll be waiting. No, I'm just kidding. I'll be waiting for
No,
my bear
Dina
cup.
sends is exclusive to me.
No,
She sends
Dina.
me gifts. Nobody else.
Send my brother the hairy thong.
Oh, no.